Scenario close. A quick overview shows us that we have 2 emails and we have 2 crime reports. We have a problem in that we've got poor investigation standards, and even worse, the reason for those poor investigations are because we have poor diversity recognition by colleagues. How does it fit into the PA plan? To begin with, we can look at the introduction. We're going to take an opportunity to value the role actor straight away. We could do this one or two ways. We could think about the fact that they're supporting a minority group. Actually, I would go straight forward into the role that they've got as a licensee. They've got a legislative reason to reduce crime and disorder as a role, and so we can value that straight away. Nice and simple and easy. We introduce ourselves. Our mission is we want to make people safe and feel safe. We want to reduce the risk of people becoming victims of diversity-related hate crime, and we also want to make people feel confident that if problems do occur in the future, that they will receive a good quality of service from the police. Question 1, very simple. How long have you been a licensee? Or perhaps how long have you been a licensee at the Admiral Duncan? The probing phase, there's quite a bit to go into here, so we're going to need to move through. Helping to segment parts of the conversation is what helps you move through this quite quickly. So, using conversation management, wanting to speak about the weather lag group. How long have they been at the pub? How many are in the group? Have they ever suffered victimisation themselves directly? Do they have any information about individuals or groups that would feel badly about them? Next subject, thinking about the graffiti incidents. Now, you're starting to think like supervisors, but let's not stop thinking like cops. What investigation methods have gone ahead? What might yet be done? Is there anything more that we can secure and preserve? Similarly, thinking around the later damage to the car. What can sometimes happen in Osprey is that we think about one incident, we forget to look at the other one. If there are 2 incidents, there'll be points for 2 incidents. We need to think about the disinterested PC, and for that matter, the disinterested acting sergeant that's also signed off these crime reports. We need to find out more about that to give us clear information to help us act about that in the future. We want to think about other information other things that could exist within the situation. We want to think about, have there been problems inside the pub? Could there be more clues about what's going on from that? Have there been any other issues that the role actor wants to bring to our attention? With both these, you're flying a kite. You've got no information about them, but they can be quickly put, and if you don't get anything positive back, moving on. Our solutions phase, the very first thing we need to do is apologise for this poor quality of service. It doesn't meet the organisation standards, it doesn't meet your standards as the candidate, and you're going to do something about it for those 2 reasons. There will be solutions in the short and the longer term. So in the short term, immediate action looking to provide visible reassurance patrols. You can arrange this as the supervisor. You'll want to reinvestigate or review those crimes. Certainly as a supervisor, I would expect you to review the crimes. If you think there's a lot of work to be done, then you'll allocate an officer to do that. You'll need to decide after looking at this a little bit longer whether that would be the original officer or a new officer. And you'll certainly be wanting to make reference to the fact that you'll be challenging the officer for their lack of recognition of diversity and the way that that prejudice has actually hampered the investigation, left victims unsupported, and left the community liable to become victims again in the future. Looking at the longer term, you'll want to meet with that weather lag group because you want to offer them support in this issue and in other issues that you may be able to help them with. You'll also want to consider the diversity awareness of the individual officer, the acting sergeant, and the wider group. If 1 or 2 people can be getting something wrong, then certainly others could also. And looking ahead at the next steps, you'll want to meet the role actor again. I would suggest no longer than a week would be necessary in order to review the investigation and see what more can and can be done. And also, you'll want to consider more security. You might wish to find a crime reduction officer to take with you. You might wish to find someone from the local authority who has knowledge of CCTV or other community safety issues that might also be of support to the licensee and perhaps the weather lag group. And that shows how I would prepare to meet close.